Get up and brush off the dew on that turf today. Turf today. Turf today. Cut it and roll that dew on that turf today. Turf today. Turf today. Set up, they about to come through on that turf today. Turf today. Turf today. Get up. Turf today. Get up. Turf today. Let's get out the way. Here comes first play. Let's maintain that turf today.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back. Water. It's the lifeblood of the game, the unseen force that transforms fairways into carpets, greens into glass, and roughs into playable ground. But water alone isn't enough. It takes precision, control, and innovation to deliver it exactly where it belongs. That's where Toro Irrigation stands apart. From cutting-edge sprinklers to intelligent control systems, Toro brings superintendents the power to master water like never before. Reliable, efficient, unmatched. Because every drop matters, every swing deserves perfection, and every course deserves the best. Toro, always solving, always evolving. Comes through well. So last week was a bit of a big one. I had a lot of people reaching out. I don't know if you had some comments or anybody chatting to you about Sean.
Yeah, a lot of, folks that have listened to it got a lot out of it. Definitely a phenomenal episode. I mean, I keep going back to it myself and listening to it and continue to hear something that I didn't hear before and jot down some new ideas. So yeah, I thought it was awesome.
Yeah, I was the same way. I don't usually listen to the whole show in post-production. You do the editing and then you'll go back and listen to a few things here and there. But that was one where I was like, I am listening to this beginning to end on the golf course. It was so cool. I think, yeah, every time you listen to it, you could take something from it.
Yeah, I mean, that's one that I'm going to have on repeat on a very regular basis just to get some reminders.
Yeah, and he's so great too. Like he said at the end of the show, reach out to me, ask me questions. He's
Yeah.
always available to people. He wants to help. He talked about that as well. He found something that could really help people that he was good at. So, he put all his eggs in that basket, and it's been very beneficial for a lot of people. Might be somebody we see more of down the road.
Yeah, I sure hope so. And I mean, I told you I literally just got off of a Zoom call with him a little bit ago, and he said the response he's gotten has been tremendous. He said he's had so many people reach out to him, when they saw his name pop up on the show, that just the distribution on our end and the amount of people that we've reached and promoted through our end, he said he's got a lot of positive feedback from outside of our industry. So that's awesome to hear.
That's so great.
Yeah.
Love that. Love that.
Yes, sir.
So switching gears, had to ask you, this episode's going to come out next week, which is Ryder Cup week. So do we have any predictions or are you feeling any different at all?
I'll be 100% honest, Adam. It's my favorite event. I have had zero time to look at anything for this event, barely know who's on the squads, but Team Europe is usually the underdog on paper, but year after year after year, I guess every other year, they just keep showing up and they bond as a team. And for some reason, that team unity tends to really show itself on the golf course. So I'm hoping Team USA, with Keegan's leadership, who I think has done a great job of creating unity amongst the 12 guys on the squad, and I think they all want to play for Keegan, which makes a world of difference. So I'm expecting it to be wild.
Oh yeah, awesome venue at Bethpage and two very good teams. And I like the way you put that. There's a lot of attention to how good of a team Europe always is. How well they gel, they fly together, they stay together, they do all that stuff, and that they are, like a true sports team. So I think with the amount of people talking about that, I hope that the Americans are doing something about that to try and get together before, whether it's, this weekend leading up or doing something together or trying to stay together and create more of that camaraderie. Because yeah, it's going to be electric. The betting lines are very tight. Like it's kind of anybody's game. You usually think that the home team, has that home field advantage or home course advantage, but I think it's going to be pretty exciting this year. So it could come down to some pretty fun matches and great matchups too with the golfers.
Yeah. Yeah, no, I can't wait. Like I said, it's my favorite sporting event, not just golf event. It's my favorite sporting event. So I can't wait to settle in and watch the action on TV. So it's gonna be a blast. And yeah, I mean that place is just gonna be electric,
Hmm.
electric. So hopefully guys don't, the fans don't take it too far. Hopefully everyone's respectful and, root for your side, but don't make it about the fans, make it about the players. So we'll see. We'll see. I'm pumped.
Yeah, well, things got
Still bummed
rowdy.
I won't be there, but I'll be okay.
Yeah, yeah. Well, it would have been a tough one to make, and just even finding a place to stay down there would have been
Oh,
wild too. So,
yeah. I would
but
have
it,
rented a camper van and parked it at the maintenance shop. Like that
yeah,
would have
that would have been the
that would
play
have been my
probably.
go-to.
That's going to be really good. Our guest today, you were just down at Cypress Point a couple weeks ago for the Walker Cup. We're getting to talk to Jeff Markow, who is a legend in the industry. He's over 30 years at Cypress Point, and we're not too sure what's up with him for his future, but we'll get to talk to him and somebody that you know as well. So that's really good.
Yeah. Been at Cypress Point for 30, I think 30 some years, I believe 32 years maybe. Um, I've met him a couple times along the way. Again, just relationships with my dad. He served on Pennsylvania Turfgrass Council with my father, um, and just um, can't say it enough. Just what a good human being he is. And I've got a great question for him. I asked him a certain question a couple years back when I did my first site visit with him and interview with him. But you see these clubs that are so prestigious, right? And exclusive and all that kind of stuff. And I think people have a perception of the type of person that's at those facilities. And Jeff is probably the furthest thing away from exclusive, uptight, any of that stuff. He is like the most humble, outgoing, welcoming person you could ever imagine. And he found a great fit for himself at Cypress, which is why I think he's lasted there so long. Because when you get past, all your preconceived notions of what Cypress Club is, once you're on property, it's about as welcoming of an environment as you could possibly imagine for a top three club in the world.
I mean, you only hear nothing but good things. People call it a cathedral, and Alistair Mackenzie course from back in the 20s, and all the different types of terrain that they have there with the
It's
peninsula and the
magical.
cliffs and the
It
forest.
is
And
magical.
like, I've never been there, obviously. I've only ever played it on the video game, but it's a fun course to be at. And like, fuck you. When I talked to you, you were kind of like, yeah, this is a magical place to be. So getting to work there for 30 years and run a crew and be a part of that whole Pebble Beach area, because they have like, what, 7 or 8 properties down there?
Hey, Jeff,
Hey,
Jeff.
how are you?
doing great. How are you?
I don't have this fancy background as you guys do. I better put up a black screen or something.
I don't know. I think yours looks pretty good there. I see a few pretty special pictures on the wall back there, Jeff.
Oh yeah, I'll move it around. There you go.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
There we
Plus, you have
go.
a beautiful golf course behind you too, so there is that.
So you getting back from some well-deserved time away here?
Yeah, snuck out to Minnesota to see daughter and some friends, so it was nice. And it was it's nice to get out and get away, but still a little sleep deprived.
Sure, you
But
connected with some friends out there, and you're still catching up from the Walker Cup for sure. So.
yeah, it's such a short event though. It's great.
Well, but let's not understate all the preparation that goes into it. I mean, it's
Yeah,
while the
no,
event
it's
itself was only 2 days plus some practice rounds. I mean, it's
yeah,
years and months of planning and organizing. So that wears on you.
That's what we want people to believe, but that's not the truth. But no, we just winged
Oh,
it together that weekend. So
yeah, well, you did a good job. You faked it and you made it. So
yeah,
that's
no, and I
good job for
appreciate all
that.
your support and help too with the
Yeah,
Yeah,
no.
it
guide.
was fun to get to talk to Brian. We did a podcast. Brian was actually in your turf parking lot in his car, and just getting to hear about everybody that was there and the tournament itself, the golf course itself was pretty cool. So, tell us a little bit about the tournament and having so many of your friends and supporters in helping you with that.
Well, Brian, we would have let you in the shop. I mean, I don't know why you had to stay out in the parking lot. I mean, we didn't banish you. You could
It
have come
made for
inside.
some good content, so don't worry.
You no, you didn't. I took it upon myself because, coming and going and, people watching football or golf or whatever, I do my best to stay out of the way.
No, that's fine. It was a lot of fun. It was a little hectic and it went too quick as always, but great to see some old friends. That's how the volunteer list started. As I just went back to all the interns and students and assistants that have been here previously and gave them first shot, so to speak, to come and volunteer, and it filled up rather quickly, which was nice. A lot of guys made a big effort to travel and come, and so it was most appreciated. And we all look a little different than we did 30 years ago. So but it was easy to recognize most of them. So a lot of fun, a lot of fun. Too quick, it just disappeared.
You obviously don't get that opportunity, Jeff, to host things like that. So how cool is it to be able to provide that opportunity to everyone, all your friends and former assistants and whatnot?
I think that was the unique part is that because it's such a, I mean, it was the last time I was here was 81, 1981. So,
Wow.
and the next time it'll be here, most of us will be dead. So, um, but it's neat because of the format, I think, and that the people get to walk with the groups, in the fairways. It's a very small crowd, restricted crowd, um, and a lot of time for the people and the volunteers to spend, on the golf course and watching golf and again, because of the unique format and the small field. Other big events, they've got a big preparation in the morning, and then the place is full, and then they got to come back out in the afternoon and another big preparation. And here they could just kind of hang out, walk around, have some lunch, and go watch some golf. And there wasn't a lot of afternoon work to do in between the matches because again because of the format. So I think that was the fun part is that it was completely different than a major or an open or anything like that for most people.
It sounds like a good situation. You get to be
Yeah,
there and be a part of it. It's only a 2-day tournament and there's not a lot of afternoon stuff, so nobody's
correct.
dying from not going to sleep, so that's good.
Yeah, exactly. Or going back in that, shuttling them back to the hotel or wherever, and they get to sleep and then get back out there at 4 in the afternoon. So I
Let's
think that's the most unique part or fun part.
let's be real. There were plenty of guys out there that were dying from not getting enough sleep, but it had nothing to do with the workload that you put on them. So
The
That is true. Well,
extracurriculars.
we expected that.
that's why you had plenty of people sitting in the bullpen ready to go in case someone
Yeah,
didn't show, right?
yeah. No, again, that was I'm America's worst volunteer, so I can appreciate what they do. Um, but it was just great having friends here and haven't seen them for a while, and especially some of the guys that have been here previously.
Well,
So
before we get too far down the line here with you, Jeff, we always like to open these shows up with allowing our guests just to give us a brief overview of who you are, how you found this business, and got to where you are.
kind of started way back in high school. I was washing dishes at a golf course and behind the house, a little 9-hole spot. And next summer they say, "Hey, we need somebody outside," and I said, "Sure." I had no clue what we were doing, but um, uh, a little one greens mower that you walked for mow the 9 holes, that kind of operation. So um, from there, they made the mistake of then telling me I could take over the following season, and so so there were two of us, and it was just kind of it was a great summer job. To be honest, you get a free tan and and then went to Minneapolis, moved up to Minneapolis for college. And like any proper college student, you don't have a class until at least 11 or 12 o'clock in the morning. There's no reason for early classes. So I'd go mow tees at Minneapolis Golf Club in the mornings and worked there in the summer um, for about 4 years, and graduated from college. And there wasn't really a lot of work in my chosen field. And my superintendent at the time said, "Hey, why don't you go into this business? You've done okay so far." And so ended up going to Penn State for a couple years and went back to Minnesota. And there were no jobs really. I mean, you waited for somebody to do the musical chairs, and then the assistants would move and move and move. So, but the desert was booming. Southern California, Palm Springs area was exploding with golf course construction. A lot of Minnesota guys were headed that direction. So I jumped on the train and went west, young man. Uh, and it was a great experience. A lot of young people starting families. Great to call your friends in Minnesota on Christmas and say, "Hey, what are you doing? We're sitting by the pool having vodka grapefruits in the sun." And they're in the snow. So went to the Vintage Club as assistant superintendent, and then went to PJ West and construction superintendent when Landmark Land owned the properties. Worked for some great people, Lee Schmidt and Jeff Pritchard, and then DJ Pacala at the Vintage. And then he left. I went back to the Vintage Club as superintendent. It's a 36-hole private facility, very nice facility. And so, and just lucked out. I got on a list due to a consultant that was working with Nicholas organization at the time and was at Nicholas Private and PGA West, and got on the list for Cypress and weaseled my way in. And here we go. And now it's 32 years later, which is crazy. We're going to step down in March and do something else. So that's the quick version.
What a journey.
But
It's awesome.
yeah, it's been fun.
And
It's a little loony out here, but it's okay. Yeah, California's a little strange.
keeps you on your toes, eh? It's
Yeah,
awesome.
yeah, just yeah, you never know.
Yeah.
But
Well, it's
so
common. We do hear from a lot of people that go to school for something and realize, I don't want to do this. I enjoy my golf course job. Why don't I pursue this? Take us back to that decision, maybe who was around you, some of the influences, and why you ultimately decided to go back to school to pursue turf.
I think it was more because this was early 80s, 80, 81, somewhere. We had a federal hiring freeze. I was going to biological sciences. I wanted to go to, work for DNR or fisheries or something. And there just wasn't job availability. So I continued to work at the golf course and liked being outside, and um, realized I probably didn't want to be in an office or any kind of confined space. And, you're 20, couple, few years old. You can do whatever you want at that point. You don't have any responsibility. So my superintendent, Mark Smith at Minneapolis Golf Club, was the one who said you should really contemplate going to school for this at Penn State, and that's how it started. And then once the desert came and the construction experience and all the experiences there, it's like it cemented that, yeah, we made the right decision. So,
I want to know, anytime we get guys that have gone through Dr. Deutsch's program, we always get some great stories. Do you have any good Dr. Deutsch stories?
oh boy, you're jogging an old memory now, my brain. It's a lot of cobwebs up there. No, that's what you could still smoke in the classroom, I think. And I think the one I liked was he first, second day maybe in this class. He said, "Look to your left, look at the guy on the right." He said, "In 5 years, two of you won't be in this business." So that was the advice he was giving us. Because but um, he was a pioneer developing the bent grasses, and so he's well respected, and taught us some life lessons. Made us take an etiquette class where you had to learn how to set a table, proper place settings, this and that, and so that because he knew that you would be sitting in a boardroom or sitting not in a boardroom in a clubhouse with members, and wanted to make sure you didn't tuck the napkin under your chin in your shirt, and you knew if you had three forks on the side, which
Unless you're
one.
eating lobster or seafood, right?
Yeah, exactly. But he, which was kind of unique. I had, you go into school and golf courses, and you're taking an etiquette class, but it helped because you're young, you don't know what some of this stuff is for. So
So you obviously see a lot of young people come through your program there with interns and assistants and whatnot. That education, that sort of outside the box thinking that Dr. Deutsch brought to your education, is that something you see missing from this new generation?
Not necessarily. I think it's just changed a lot with communications and the phones and everything else. So um, I no, I think the guys coming out are probably a little more prepared because of the amount of information that's available. We're looking it up in textbooks. There wasn't any computer, there wasn't anything. You're recopying your notes at the end of the day to try and remember stuff. So I think they're probably coming out a little more prepared because the technology has gone so far compared to the dinosaur era where you had a soil probe, which was the best tool you could have.
So do
And
you
now you've got moisture meters that read your smartphone. So I think they're better off. Etiquette wise, I haven't seen any problems there.
Yeah.
So anyway,
That's good. Well,
uh,
we definitely want to ask you about your assistants and interns and stuff like that today. I guess, well, first question, just we're on the topic of school. Do you think it's better that younger people go to school right away to get into this industry, or do you think getting some, different education or just some, on the job experience is better to do first?
I think it would be better if they worked on a golf course, maybe got some experience somewhere else. In fact, Penn State really wasn't big on, he wouldn't let them come, but refrained from having kids right out of high school. They wanted people with some college experience, and maybe for that very reason that, hey, I don't want to do what I've chosen. I really want to do this. So I think it's better if they get some experience, maybe travel, work on a golf course somewhere else, and get those experiences because, as everybody knows, once you get older, life changes, you get responsibilities, family, whatever, and that time is done. So I would strongly recommend it. We do to the interns that come through. We've had a lot from the Ohio State program, Michael Keith, and where they get 6 months and they get 6 months and then they, have a month of freedom and then they have to go back. But it's go out and get as wide a variety of experience as you can while you're young. Um, so then you can make a thoughtful decision on where you want to be, especially area of the country. Do you want to work, 365, or do you want to work for 6 months for 90 hours a week and then have some time off? So um, I think that's an important thing for them as well. So,
How important is it for the young people to find a quality mentor? And how much of the decision-making process on where to go should revolve around finding that person they can lean on or learn from?
I think I think that would be important, but there's so many good guys out there in the industry right now. I mean, top notch, well more advanced than us dinosaurs because of the technology. So uh
You're too
the
humble, Jeff, man. You don't give
yeah,
yourself enough credit.
I to have that information, to have that technology, it's going to make a better superintendent. But there's a lot of good young guys out there. So I think it wouldn't be too hard to find a good mentor. Um, as much as where do you want to be too. You need to establish yourself or bounce around until you decide where to go and then look around and find a mentor. But I think it just helps, get your feet wet and go from there.
So working at Cypress for over 30 years, obviously had some good interns and assistants come through here. We have a lot of those types of people that listen to the show. I would love for you to talk a little bit about some of the really good qualities that you like in your interns and your assistants.
Yeah, we have been very fortunate. We've had a great group come through, and I think it's um just it is California. Don't come in too wrapped up too tight. The East Coast guys, we got to decompress them when they come out here because they're used to that. They're used to that.
There's a waiting period until they can come out there, right? Like,
Yeah, they work the hardest. I mean, I'm not slighting others, but some of those, were the seasons and the weather, you're spot on for a long time. So out here, it's a 20, we're open 364 days. We close on Christmas. It's the only day. So you can't get tied up with 10, 12-hour days. You'll burn out. And there's really no need for it due to the climate. But I think it's important when they, to balance work and family and life, get away from the golf course, do something else. It can't be your sole focus. It can be your sole focus for a little bit, but you need to get away from the golf course and do other things. You know, well-rounded individuals, they'll survive better in the business. So that's the best I can give them. So just take the time, smell the roses. You know,
Well, there's no better place to smell the roses than where you are, that's for sure. But
yeah.
um,
So enjoy your time.
you mentioned, some of the challenges the guys on the East Coast, Mid-Atlantic, or whatever they face, and the unique climate you have there. Talk a little bit about your environment there at Cypress Point and maybe some of the challenges that you do see from an agronomic perspective.
Yeah, again, those guys, they're the rock stars in the Southeast, and they grow big bugs down there. So they've got the desert, it's 120 degrees. So I mean, I've been there. So there's a lot of areas of the country that have challenges. So ours, it's not really as much a challenge um, as the marine layer is just so unpredictable. You can be 59, 61 degrees in July. You're spraying for pink snow mold, and it's like this isn't
Wow.
right. This isn't
What?
correct. Yeah, exactly. We not treat, but we manage pink snow mold almost year round, except for a couple warm periods because it's just wet, damp. That's the biggest thing is the pole loves it. It's like growing in a greenhouse. Um, Irrigation ETs, TMI is in July are like 0.03. So, so there's just we're not chasing wilt at 2 o'clock in the afternoon in July. You can't see 200 yards. So that's where some of the work-life balance is easier for us because there's just no need. We're not working 10, 12-hour days. There's absolutely no need for it. So they have to adjust to that sometimes when the guys come out for his internships. They want to work, 70, 80 hours work week to make money. Well, we give them advance warning that that won't happen uh, so that they can, plan. And maybe it's not a spot they want to come. We try not to take interns in the wintertime because there's just nothing really to do. That's our rainy season. We might be painting things in the shop or fixing bunkers that are washed out. So it's not a great educational experience for them. And so we try and limit, not limit, but utilize more of the spring, summer, fall internships. Just again, due to the climate.
Yeah, it makes
It's
sense, and that's
strange.
smart. You want to try and put the
It's
best
strange.
situation in front of them, right? When they're
Yeah,
there.
exactly. It's like you're not going to gain a lot during that time. Plus, it's the storm surges and things. It's not a good time to learn how to surf in that time of year. Summer, sure, but if they want to learn how to surf, don't come in the winter.
Well-rounded. That's good.
Yeah.
Well-rounded, yeah, efficient too. But yeah, it's just unique. It's beautiful and sunny. Fog pulls in, and half a mile away over at Pebble, their 15th hole is in the sun, and we're
Wild.
visibility of 200 yards maybe.
You mentioned earlier you put your name on the list for Cypress. When you do get the job or you're going to interview for the job, what was it like stepping on that property for the first time? Was there anything that kind of stuck out to you?
Uh, yeah, no, I was fortunate that I didn't put myself, but they luckily got on that list of 10, and then they whittled it down. But yeah, it was very. I had been up here before and actually was had a I applied for Spyglass Hill when it became open many years prior. And so I had a vision or had been to the area. The property itself was really unique coming from the desert. That's all phony down there. It's all fake rock and flowers and all that stuff. So this was more natural, rugged. Um, uh, Again, the change from the desert or where was it, the Vintage Club with the manicuring and stuff to the natural scenes and letting things go was great. I mean, it's a little bit of a culture shock, but it fit the property. Um, and I vividly remember standing on the 15th tee saying, if they offer this job, we're out. We're coming. So, and luckily lucked out, and it's been a wonderful ride. It's just a neat piece of property as many people saw. Especially with the drone video now. We didn't have that back then. You didn't get to see that kind of view. Um, but it's just a beautiful piece of property. It won't ever happen again in California with the regulations and things. So,
Mm,
uh,
Yeah.
interesting.
so
So 30 some plus years later, Jeff, when you still walk out on the 15, do you get a lot of those same emotions as the first time
oh,
you walked on the
oh, sure,
property?
yeah. It's just, especially if it's sunny, it's like, uh, it's beautiful. It's like you just, I mean, and you see different things every day. There's an otter out there in the middle cracking a shell on his belly, and it's in the seals, harbor seals, and the wildlife. And every now and then you find a half a deer carcass in the middle of the fairway. That means mountain lion, but you don't get them too often. But or the deer are fighting in the middle of the fairway during rut like they're doing now.
Yeah.
So.
I had a staring contest with a seal out on 15.